Lovely people out there, welcome to my YouTube channel and thanks for clicking on this video. हमने अपने चैनल पे एक इम्पोर्टेंट सीरीज ऑफ लेक्चर स्टार्ट किया है and the name of that particular series of lecture is drugs which are acting on our parasympathetic nervous system. So in our previous video lecture we discussed कि कुछ ऐसे ड्रग्स होते हैं जो हमारे अंदर बॉडी में जाने के बाद डायरेक्टली पैरासिम्पैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम की एक्टिविटी को बढ़ाते हैं एंड सच ड्रग्स दे आर नोन एज पैरासिम्पैथोमाइमेटिक एजेंट. ऑन द अदर हैंड कुछ ऐसे ड्रग्स होते हैं जो हमारे बॉडी के अंदर जाने के बाद दे आर रिड्यूसिंग द एक्टिविटी ऑफ अवर पैरासिम्पैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम एंड ऐसे ड्रग्स को हम लोग बोलते हैं पैरासिम्पैथोलाइटिक एजेंट. So in our previous video discussion, we saw the concept of our parasympatholytic agent. वहाँ पे हमने एक important drug discuss किया था and the name of that particular drug is atropine. Now whenever I talk about the drug that is atropine, ये जो atropine है that is coming under the category of non-selective anti-muscarinic agent. Now when I say एक particular drug है which is coming under the category of non-selective anti-muscarinic agent, that means this drug is having the potency to block all our muscarinic receptor. Now हमारे बॉडी में कितने टाइप्स के muscarinic receptors होते हैं? So the answer is we have 5 main important classification of our muscarinic receptor starting from M1 receptor up to we have M5 receptor. बट हमको 3 मेन इंपॉर्टेंट रिसेप्टर पे फोकस करना है एंड दैट इज M1 रिसेप्टर, M2 रिसेप्टर एंड M3 रिसेप्टर. नाउ इन आवर प्रीवियस वीडियो डिस्कशन हमने डिस्कस किया है कि कौन से एक स्पेसिफिक अगर हमने मस्करिनिक रिसेप्टर को ब्लॉक किया है व्हाट विल बी इट्स इफेक्ट. सो आज के इस वीडियो लेक्चर में वी आर गोइंग टू सी कि फार्माकोलॉजिकली हम एंटी मस्करिनिक एजेंट कहाँ पे यूज कर सकते हैं. सो आज हम 4 इंपॉर्टेंट जगह पे देख रहे होंगे कि व्हाट इज द इंपॉर्टेंट फार्माकोलॉजिकल यूज ऑफ अवर एंटी मस्करिनिक एजेंट. सो लेट अस सी कि आज के इस वीडियो लेक्चर में हम कौन सी चीजें डिस्कस करने वाले हैं. So in our today's video lecture, we are going to understand the pharmacological action of our anticholinergic drugs on our stomach, pharmacological action of our anticholinergic system on our human heart, pharmacological action of anticholinergic on our bronchus, and finally we are going to see the pharmacological action of our anticholinergic drug on the urinary bladder. So let us start with the concept of pharmacological action of anticholinergic drug on the stomach. Now when I say कि एक particular drug is acting on our stomach, we need to understand कि stomach में कौन से receptors basically present होते हैं. So when we were dealing the basic concept of our cholinergic system, at that time I told you कि हमारा जो stomach है that is having a very good concentration of M1 muscarinic receptor as well as it is having a very good concentration of M3 muscarinic receptor. Now यहाँ पे we are mainly focusing on the activity of our M1 muscarinic receptor. Now जब भी हम stomach में जो M1 muscarinic receptor को stimulate करते हैं, what is its main important action? The action is it is increasing the secretion of our gastric acid and the very important gastric acid which is present inside our stomach that is HCl. Now ये तो हो गई बात कि जब हम ये M1 muscarinic receptor को stimulate करते हैं. Now अगर same M1 muscarinic receptor को अगर हमने block कर दिया so action उल्टा हो जाएगा. So on blocking our M1 muscarinic receptor, there will be decrease in the acid secretion. That means जो HCl का secretion है वो stomach में decrease हो जाएगा. So as you can see on your screen, कि we have M1 muscarinic receptor. On stimulation, it increases the acid secretion, and on blockage, it decreases the acid secretion. So whenever, what is the important pharmacological use of such kind of blockage? So we know कि अगर हमने M1 receptor को block कर दिया, this will lead to decrease in acid secretion. नाउ कौन सी ऐसी कंडीशन है जहां पे हमें एसिड का सिक्रेशन कम करना है? सो द आंसर इज इन द कंडीशन ऑफ peptic ulcer disease we need to decrease the concentration, or we can say the secretion of our HCl. So it is very useful in the treatment of peptic ulcer disease. Now let us see in detail कि ये peptic ulcer disease में acid secretion को कम कैसे करता है. So for this we need to understand कि जो हमारा stomach होता है that is having a very important cell, and the name of that particular cell is known as parietal cell. Now ये जो parietal cell होते हैं इसके ऊपर we are having proton pump. So as you can see on your screen, here is our proton pump, and यहाँ पे एक H plus बाहर जा रहा है and एक K plus अंदर आ रहा है. So you can consider कि ये जो parietal cell है that is a very important cell which is responsible for the secretion of our HCl. Now this parietal cell is having a very good concentration of M3 muscarinic receptor. Now as you can see here, here is our gastric ganglia, and gastric ganglia में we have M1 muscarinic receptor. So whenever any drug, or we can say acetylcholine या फिर कोई भी जो ड्रग होते हैं जो अगर M1 muscarinic receptor को अगर स्टिम्युलेट करेंगे, what it will lead to? It will lead to increase in the release of acetylcholine, as you can see on your screen. And ये जो acetylcholine है, further it will stimulate our M3 muscarinic receptor, and M3 muscarinic receptor will stimulate the activity of this pump, and ultimately acid का जो production है that is HCl वो बढ़ जाएगा. Now अभी हमने बात की थी कि what will happen when this M1 muscarinic receptor is blocked. So as you can see on this image, यहाँ पे here our M1 muscarinic receptor which is present on our gastric ganglia that is getting blocked. So कोई भी ड्रग ये M1 muscarinic receptor को स्टिम्युलेट नहीं कर पाएगी. So what will happen? जो एसिटाइलकोलिन का यहाँ से रिलीज हो रहा था वो कम हो जाएगा, एंड अगर यहाँ से एसिटाइलकोलिन का रिलीज अगर कम हो गया, कैन आई से less M3 muscarinic receptor will get stimulated, and उसका क्या होगा इफेक्ट? It will lead to decrease in the activity of our proton pump, and ultimately जो acid का secretion है हमारे stomach में वो कम हो जाएगा, and that is the main important mechanism of action of our M1 receptor blocker, which is very useful in the treatment of peptic ulcer disease. Now कौन से ऐसे drugs होते हैं which are mainly blocking our M1 muscarinic receptor? So we need to remember two important drugs. The very first one is known as pyranozepine, and the second one is known as talanzepine. So these drugs are mainly useful in the treatment of peptic ulcer disease. Now let us move on to our next important system, and that is action on our human heart. Now जब भी हम human heart की बात करते हैं, we know that our human heart is very well concentrated with our M2 muscarinic receptor. Now हार्ट में M2 muscarinic receptor कौन से स्पेसिफिक एरियाज में लोकेटेड होते हैं? सो द आंसर इज वी हैव our M2 muscarinic receptor very well concentrated on our sinoatrial node, and we have a very good concentration of our M2 muscarinic receptor on our atrioventricular node. So जब भी हम M2 muscarinic receptor sinoatrial node वाला स्टिम्युलेट करते हैं, it is going to decrease our heart rate, and this decrease in the heart rate is known as negative chronotropic effect. Now जब भी हम atrioventricular node पे M2 muscarinic receptor को stimulate करते हैं, what is its effect? It is going to decrease the conduction via atrioventricular node, and this is known as negative dromotropic effect. अब ये बात हो गई जब हम ये M2 muscarinic receptor को स्टिम्युलेट करते हैं. नाउ इसका उल्टा, whenever we are blocking our M2 muscarinic receptor, so जो हार्ट रेट पहले स्टिम्युलेट होने से कम हो जाती थी, अब वही हार्ट रेट इंक्रीज हो जाएगी, and this particular increase in the heart rate is known as positive chronotropic effect. On the other hand, जो atrioventricular node पे पहले M2 muscarinic receptor जब स्टिम्युलेट होते थे, there was a decrease in the conduction via atrioventricular node, Now, whenever we are blocking this M2 muscarinic receptor present on our atrioventricular node, it is going to increase the conduction, and this increase in the conduction via atrioventricular node is known as a positive dromotropic effect. Now, let us see how we can use this particular phenomenon for our pharmacological use. So we have M2 muscarinic receptor, and M2 muscarinic receptor को जब हम ब्लॉक करते हैं, it is going to increase the heart rate as well as it is going to increase the conduction. Now हमें किस पेशेंट में हार्ट रेट बढ़ी हुई चाहिए? So the answer is those patient who is suffering from bradycardia. In those patient अगर हमने हार्ट रेट बढ़ा दी, then it is very useful for the patient who is suffering from bradycardia. So वहाँ पे we can give that particular patient M2 receptor blocker. Now atrioventricular block में, that is the blockage of our atrioventricular node, वहाँ पे we know कि conduction ज़्यादा होना चाहिए. So also in the patient who is suffering from atrioventricular block, we can give this particular drug, and ये दोनों के दोनों condition में, that is bradycardia as well as atrioventricular block, atropine is considered as a drug of choice. Now atropine की एक खास बात है कि whenever we are giving this atropine, atropine initially क्या करता है? Atropine initially is performing the function of bradycardia. वो पेशेंट में पहले हार्ट रेट कम करता है एंड उसके बाद जो पेशेंट की हार्ट रेट है वो बढ़ा देता है. Now the question is why initially atropine is causing bradycardia and उसके बाद atropine tachycardia कैसे करता है? Let us see that particular mechanism. So as you can see on your screen, here is our pictorial representation, and यहाँ पे you can see here is our synapse, and synapse के पहले ये जो है that is known as presynaptic, and यहाँ पे ये जो दिख रहा है that is postsynaptic. Now we know postsynaptically we have a very good representation of our M2 muscarinic receptor, and presynaptically we have M1 muscarinic receptor. यहाँ पे presynaptically M2 muscarinic receptor भी हो सकते हैं. So now whenever initially we are giving atropine to the patient, ये atropine क्या करता है? Presynaptic जो M1 muscarinic receptor है उसको पहले जाके ये ब्लॉक करता है. Now what is the main important function of our M1 muscarinic receptor which is present presynaptically? So ये जो M1 muscarinic receptor होता है presynaptically, it is acting as a brake. That means कि यहाँ पे जो synapse में acetylcholine आया है, some of the acetylcholine will work presynaptically and it is going to stimulate our M1 muscarinic receptor, and उसके वजह से the release of acetylcholine is getting reduced. Now हमने atropine patient को दिया है. So atropine पहले ये M1 muscarinic receptor को ब्लॉक कर देता है. That means can I say कि atropine initially it is braking, or we can say it is pausing our braking system. So ये जो acetylcholine है वो M1 muscarinic receptor पे काम नहीं कर पाएगा. That means ये particular neuron को पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि now it need to decrease the production or synthesis or release of acetylcholine. So there will be more acetylcholine release, and ये जो acetylcholine ज़्यादा release हो रहा है, it is going to act on our M2 muscarinic receptor, and we know कि M2 muscarinic receptor जब stimulate होते हैं, it is going to reduce our heart rate. Now फिर बाद में क्या होता है कि atropine also blocks our M2 muscarinic receptor, and after the blockage of our M2 muscarinic receptor, it is producing the concept of tachycardia. So remember, initially it blocks our presynaptic M1 receptor, then it blocks M2 receptor, and hence there is initial bradycardia which is followed by tachycardia. Now let us move on to our third important action, that is action on bronchus. Now we know कि ये जो bronchus होता है, we have a very good concentration of our M3 muscarinic receptor. नाउ जब हम ब्रोंकस में M3 मस्करेनिक रिसेप्टर को स्टिम्युलेट करते हैं, इट इज प्रोड्यूसिंग अ इफेक्ट दैट इज नोन एज ब्रोंकोस्पैज्म, एंड जब हम यही सेम रिसेप्टर को ब्लॉक करते हैं, इट इज प्रोड्यूसिंग अ इफेक्ट दैट इज नोन एज ब्रोंकोडाइलेटेशन. Now, this bronchodilation can be very useful in the patient who is suffering from asthma and COPD. Why? Because whenever we are blocking our M3 receptor which is present on the bronchi, there will be bronchodilation, and ये जो bronchodilation है, it is very useful for the treatment of asthma and COPD, because we know कि asthma और COPD में patient को respiratory problem है. सो अगर हमने ब्रोंकाई को डायलेट कर दिया है, सो पेशेंट कैन ब्रीथ प्रॉपरली एंड उसका रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम इंटैक्ट होगा. सो वी कैन यूज सच काइंड ऑफ ड्रग्स. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, वी हैव टू इंपॉर्टेंट ड्रग्स which are mainly useful in the treatment of asthma as well as COPD. The very first drug is known as ipratropium bromide, and the second one is known as tiotropium bromide. So these two drugs, they are mainly useful in the treatment of asthma as well as COPD. Now special points to remember about these two drugs, that is ipratropium bromide and tiotropium bromide. They are mainly given as inhalation route. Now ipratropium bromide जो होता है, that is non-selective blocker. That means it can block our M3 muscarinic receptor, M2 muscarinic receptor, as well as it can block our M1 muscarinic receptor. Whereas जो tiotropium bromide होता है, it is having no action on our M2 receptor. So जो heart related जो side effects होते हैं, वो नहीं हो पाएंगे. So the main important side effect of both these drug is the dryness of mouth. Now why there is a dryness of mouth? We know कि जितने भी हमारे secretory glands होते हैं, वहाँ पे we have a very good concentration of our M3 muscarinic receptor. So ये जो दोनों drugs है, it is blocking our M3 muscarinic receptor. So उसके वजह से क्या होगा, जो glands के जो secretions है वो कम हो जाएंगे, and ultimately it can lead to a very important side effect, and that side effect is known as dryness of mouth. Now moving on to our fourth important action, and that is action on the bladder. Now हमें ये पता है कि जो हमारा urinary bladder होता है, that is having a very important muscle, and that smooth muscle is known as detrusor muscle. Now detrusor muscle पे we have a very important receptor, and that is M3 muscarinic receptor. So जब भी हम ये M3 muscarinic receptor को stimulate करते हैं, it will contract this bladder, and contraction की वजह से on stimulation it will provide the urination. Now same अगर हमने इसको उल्टा कर दिया, that is on blockage there will be urinary retention. Now special point to remember, whenever we are blocking our M3 receptor on our urinary bladder, definitely there is going to be decrease in the contractility. Now अगर contractility अगर decrease होती है, so definitely there will be decrease in the pressure, and अगर there is a decrease in the pressure as well as a decrease in the contractility, that means can I say कि जो urinary bladder है वो कुछ हद तक relax हो गया है. And whenever our urinary bladder is getting relaxed, it is having more capacity to store the urine. So there will be increase in the capacity to store the urine. So this particular drugs, that is M3 receptor blocker, they are avoided in the patient with BPH. Now BPH के बारे में जब हमने स्टडी किया था, what was the main important problem with the BPH patients? वहाँ पे जो पेशेंट कंप्लेन करता है, दैट इज ऑफ यूरिनरी रिटेंशन. सो अगर हमने अभी देखा कि अगर हमने M3 मस्करिनिक रिसेप्टर को यूरिनरी ब्लैडर पे ब्लॉक कर दिया है, देन इट इज गोइंग टू इंक्रीज द यूरिनरी रिटेंशन. सो ऑलरेडी द पेशेंट हु इज सफरिंग फ्रॉम BPH, ही इज हैविंग अ कंप्लेन ऑफ यूरिनरी रिटेंशन. अगर हमने ये भी ड्रग दे दिया, सो इट विल एग्रावेट द कंडीशन ऑफ यूरिनरी रिटेंशन. इसीलिए ये जो M3 रिसेप्टर ब्लॉकर्स होते हैं, they are avoided in the patient who is suffering from BPH. Now, यही same concept को can we use in some pharmacological concept. Now, empty receptor blocker that is going to decrease in the contractility. So contractility हम कौन से patient में कम करना चाहते हैं? So that is very useful in the treatment of overactive bladder. Now what is this overactive bladder? Overactive bladder is nothing but जहाँ पे जो patient है that is जो M3 muscarinic receptor है वो बार बार अगर stimulate हो रहा है, that means it is going to lead to hyperurination and जो bladder की जो activity है वो बढ़ जाती है. So that is why it is very useful in the treatment of overactive bladder because it will lead to decrease in the contractility by blockage of our M3 muscarinic receptor. Now वैसे कौन से important drugs होते हैं which are useful in the treatment of our overactive bladder? So the very first drug is known as dalifenacin. The second one is known as oxybutynine, and the third one is known as tolterodine. These are the drugs which can be useful in the treatment of overactive bladder. So that's it for today's video lecture. अगर आपने वीडियो लेक्चर यहाँ तक देखा है, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, press that bell icon, like this video and share it with your friends. See you in the next video lecture with more pharmacological use of our anticholinergic drug. See you till then, bye bye.